Sun yeah means what?
Good investment, cheap things.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Timing and You, where timing is everything. Now, of course, this is our Fireside Chat series for the month, and we're very excited to have a very special guest with us here today, Dato Michael. Now, before we really start today's proceedings, we'd like to give everyone about 5 minutes to come onto the Zoom or onto Facebook Live. So for those of you who are already here, thank you very much for being on time with us here tonight. We greatly appreciate your presence here on time. And of course, since you are here early, do take the opportunity to get comfortable, grab yourself a drink if you need to. If you need to go for a quick toilet break, please do so now, because we think that tonight's topic is going to be extremely interesting for you. You do not want to miss a minute of it. In fact, we got so excited talking about watches that Dato Michael actually just bought a watch right before coming on 1 minute ago. That's how excited and how much he loves watches, right? So we've got probably the best person in the entire region to speak to you about watches today. So I hope you give your full attention to us. It's probably a bit different for many of you. You probably do not associate us with watches, but when it comes to investing, when we see an opportunity, we cannot miss out. So for those of you who are already here, thank you very much. I'd like to go very quickly to some house rules for those of you who are already here. And for those of you who are the first time with us here on Timing and You, welcome. It's a great pleasure having you here with us here today. Now, of course, today, the Fireside Chat, we'll be talking about investing into a timeless alternative, where we tap into a recession-proof luxury watch segment. Now, of course, for many people, of you who don't know, in many cases, the luxury segment is probably one of the most recession-proof industries. And perhaps today, Dato Michael will be able to shed some light on why this would be as well. And it's going to be one of our topic points for us here today. Now, of course, for those of you who are on Zoom and or Facebook Live, please note that there is no need to take any screenshots, photos, or videos, because this session is being recorded and will be on our Facebook page, on the main page. So at any point in time later on, if you miss out any particular section, not to worry, you can always re-watch this as well. So because today's content is probably going to be very interesting for many of you, we do encourage you to give us your full attention. So please put your mobile phones away so that you can actually focus on today's content. You can take notes as much as you like as well, because I believe there'll be some pointers for those of you who are interested in this space, right? Now, and of course, for those of you who are new to us, if you are in Malaysia and Indonesia, if you have a interest to know more about what Timing You is about, or you want to arrange a one-to-one appointment to find out more, please add the +6018 number you see on screen right now. That is for our customer service representative in Malaysia, who also takes care of Indonesia. And for our friends in Singapore, for those of you who want to have the same access, there is a +65 number as you see on screen. Please add that number to speak to us at any time. And of course, if you face any technical issues as well. And of course, for those of you who are on Zoom, if at any point in time you drop out of the call, please do just immediately go over to Facebook, as this is being streamed simultaneously on Facebook Live, so you will not miss out on any of the content, especially if you are watching it live. And of course, while you're there, please give us a follow, a like, and a share, because we know we will have more and more exciting fireside chats coming to you every single month. On top of that, we also have a public event every single month. And of course, the Ask Me Any Stock session, which is done with Derick. So for those of you who want to know more about the stock market today, and you want to ask Derick to analyze a particular stock that you are invested in, that is a session that you do not want to miss. We do that once a month. So while you're there, make sure to like us, follow us, subscribe if you have to keep track of us. And I think you would be very, very excited for all the new and upcoming content we have here. Of course, during this pandemic season, we have been very active in providing lots of content, and we've been doing extremely well, bringing more and more important information to help people navigate this crisis. So you do not want to miss out. So give us a follow and a like when you are at our Facebook page, right? And for those of you who are on Zoom, if you want to respond to any questions that we may be asking you, you can use the chat box. You can see here there's a chat box. And for those of you who want to ask a question at the end of the session for any one of our speakers tonight, please use the Q&A box here that you can see. Please do not use the raise hand function, as we will not be using the raise hand function during this particular fireside chat. And for those of you who are on Facebook Live, please ask the questions on Facebook in the chat. The questions will be ported over and I will be directing it to you, right, on your behalf. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to begin. It's exactly 8:05. I'd like to first quickly welcome you to Timing You, where timing is everything. This is our Fireside Chat series together with Dato Michael T. Right, and today we're going to be talking about luxury watches. And before that, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. My name is George. I'm the general manager from Timing You. I'm also today's moderator for today's session. Right. And I would like to quickly also introduce two very important people here with us tonight. Of course, the first, for those of you who are new to us, I'd like to introduce you to Derick Tan, the founder and CEO of Timing and You. Of course, Derick is known in the market as Mr. Cycle. He's had trading experience for the last 21 years. He spent the last 13 years doing cycle analysis, and he's known for having accurately forecasted the market over the last decade. He speaks for many renowned financial institutions. And throughout this pandemic, he has been accurate, where the whole market was just talking about how it will be a bear, how they're confused. It might be a bull. They have no idea. But Derick has always maintained that during this period, it was just a correction and the market would rally. And true enough, that's exactly what he did. So if you want to find out more, you got to stay all the way to the end, as I'll be enlightening you more about Derick as well. And it's someone that you really, really want to pay attention to, especially during this time of crisis. And of course, I'd like to introduce Dato Michael T, our very special guest during today's session. Now, of course, Dato Michael T has 10 years experience in the stock market covering Asia. He's impacted and been integral in the Asian retail broking industry across Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Korea, you name it, he probably has went through it, right? And he's been there, he's been active, and his last corporate position in the stockbroking industry was with CIMB Securities, where he served as a director for many years before venturing into his personal passions and pursuits while serving as an advisor to many public listed companies. He's been a pioneer in many industry-first retail initiatives, from fintech to investment education. And he's a firm believer of empowering retail investors through knowledge backed with innovation. Now, as an industry player and ex-broker, he has witnessed many successful and unsuccessful investors. And over his abundant career, has always maintained the opinion that age is not a showstopper in the stock market. Now, he believes that good risk management, investment plan, and purpose are integral elements in making a successful investor. He lives his life much like his signature quote to investors: one day or day one. I think Dato, you need to explain that to us later, yeah? And it's core to his philosophy, of course, that drives him to be successful. In his personal capacity, which is why he's here today as well, he is well known within the industry as an opinion leader in the luxury watch market. In fact, I've been friends with Derick, Dato Michael, for about a couple of years. And we've always connected on watches more than anything else, right?
Yes, you're right.
Actually, before I read his profile, I had no idea what he did. I only knew he was the watch guy, you know. And he has been interviewed by numerous local media regarding the subject matter, right? So he's the focal point for us here today. We'd like to thank Dato for being with us here on our show this evening. Dato, what you want to say a quick hi to everyone?
Hi, thank you, Josh. Thank you for the wonderful introduction for me. And then, hi, everybody. For those who has seen me before on some of the investment Facebook Live that I've appeared in, one of them is actually Equities Trackers Copy Time for both Chinese and English. And I think that some of you might know that, if you're my close friends, you might know that I've been in watch collecting journey for at least 12 years. Josh, I think that you know that, that it's like 5 minutes before the show starts, I just bought another watch, right? So I have been with the capital market for almost more than 10 years. So being a banker itself, as an investment banker itself, I think most of the bankers are quite risk averse. So we are quite careful about how to spend our money. We are quite careful about risk. So that is where I think that tonight I'm very happy to be invited by my very good friend, Mr. Derick, who always predicted the market correctly. Even when I was back in CIMB, I invited Mr. Derick to come and share with our CIMB clients about his prediction about US market back in at least 5 years ago on the Brexit day. Yeah. And to be honest, during the whole pandemic lockdown, I've seen so many speakers telling people sell your shares, go away. Not only recession is coming, depression is coming, but Derick is the one that says that no, the bear is not there yet. So I've seen him call out a lot of correct calls for the market, and I feel very, very happy to be invited by Derick because actually he told me that Dato, what is the best asset to invest, okay, during recessions or during bad times? What is a recession-proof asset? So he was asking me that, hey, why every time when I see you, you're wearing different watches almost every day. I mean, every time you see me, what's so special about watches? Then I dive a bit deeper with Derick, and then Derick said, hey, I mean, why not you just share this with more community? And to be honest, I have to thank you, Derick, because he is the one that gives me the confidence to actually come out to the stage and tell people a lot more about watch investment. I've been interviewed by one of the local media, printed newspaper. I think that my interview will be up very soon in a couple, 1 or 2 weeks time. It's also about investing into alternative investments like watches during uncertain times. So thank you, Derick, for bringing me, onboarding me to your shows. And I'm here. I'm very happy. I'm here to share with a lot more people that has never heard about watch. It's a wearable asset. It's a timeless investment. I think Derick has done some research this afternoon, trying to apply some cycle charts to watch prices itself. I'm going to let Derick share with the rest of you all later whether cycle charts works on watch price or not. All right. So thank you very much, Josh. Pass back to you.
Thank you, Dato. So Derick, would you like to share some opening comments and also maybe how you got to know Dato? You know, so Derick, would you like to share?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I think tonight we are very excited because, of course, Dato is my good friend in Malaysia, so we have known each other. Dato, 4 years already. Yeah. All right. So how time flies, and yeah. So we are very excited because, as you all know, I've been talking about the sovereign debt crisis. I think what we are going through right now probably is the last stage of the US stock market build up. Then later on, you will be followed by a so-called bear market. So during this period of time, I've been looking for recession-proof investments. That's why I've invested in so-called coffee chain. I've invested in food court, all this thing. And then like what Dato say, every time I see him, different kind of watch. So then he get to explain to me more about watch investment. Then I realized, hey, probably watch is also, especially luxury watch segment, it's actually a recession-proof so-called investment that probably we should look into. And of course, like what Dato shared earlier is, this afternoon I did do some research because as you all know, timing is about cycle analysis. Then I went to do more research. No, probably I don't share now. Probably later I will share later on. But to me, luxury watch, especially probably a Rolex or all this, they are really timeless. That can generate consistently good returns, be through good or bad times. Also, I'm very excited. So we are very excited to invite Dato to be here to share with all of us so that we can know more about this investment so-called vehicle or asset class so that we can hopefully participate in it so that we can not only protect our wealth, to grow our wealth as well. All right. So with that, probably I'll pass the time back to George so that we can kick off this fireside chat. All right.
Thank you, Derick. So let's jump straight into it, right? Of course, Dato has shared a bit about his background. So let's go and dive into Dato a little bit. So Dato, we know you've had a long career in the financial industry. So at what point along that career did you actually get into luxury watches actually, right? Did you started going into luxury watches because you wanted to make money or was it just a hobby?
Okay, I mean, you has mentioned that I've been with CNB Investment Bank for a tenure of 6 years. Do you know that if you are a banker or if you are investors, what you do is every day you look at your phone for the price of the stock that you have bought. So it's either go up or either go down or either go flat, right? So the time I was reporting to my immediate boss, which is the managing director of CNB Investment Bank Retail Booking, Mr. Paul Gui. I think Derick knows Paul as well. So that I mean, both of us are friends and also we are colleagues. So rather than checking the price of stocks almost every day, he's checking at the price of watches almost every day. So I was like, I mean, being a broker, being an investment banker, shouldn't we look at the price of a stock every day rather than looking at the price of a watch also almost every day? But again, like what I've mentioned to you, actually, this asset class, which is the luxury watch, is a very steady asset class, but it grows every single year. So it started is when my boss, my ex-boss, was complaining to me. He says that I've been looking at this Rolex Daytona stainless steels for the past 3 years, and every time I tell myself I'll buy next year, and every time next year the price go up. So then I started to think, yeah, I think my boss has some point. So I started to dive deep into this watch as a hobby first. This George. And then I fall into the same category because I always tell myself that, okay, I will buy this watch when I get my bonus. And then after 1 year, I didn't buy. Then I look at the price again. I was like, oh my gosh, the price actually went up that much. So then I started to look into the watches price almost like, seriously, it's almost every day. Until now, I look at watches price is like looking at stock prices itself. So actually, when you ask me how I changed this become a hobby, is one day after I bought a very first Rolex about close to about 10 years ago, when I went to a shop, a watch shop, where actually the boss actually offered me double the price that I've bought. So that is where suddenly the things become real. It actually sparks my mind and says that, look, those are not numbers that we saw on internet. Those are really people who wants to offer me to buy back my watch in hardcore cash. So this is where I tell myself that I think that it is worthwhile my time to look into this alternative investment. And during volatile times right now, people want to put money in safe havens. So people want to look at investment. These are recession-proof type of investments. Is either gold, or if you ask me personally, I have actually put 60% of my investment portfolio into watches. Yeah, I've shared with a lot of people already. It's 60%.
My eyes opened quite big when you said 60%.
Yeah, 60%.
Okay, so what you're saying is that from the beginning, you already made money from the first purchase that you did. So unlike a lot of collectors that I've met over the years, you were basically making money from the first watch that you got into.
Yeah,
and
I think I make a very good profit from the first watch that I've bought, but I've made mistakes along the way. So the time I was telling myself that I want to be the real collector in Switch watch. Josh, I did a very stupid mistake where I collected. Do you remember I told both of you? I collected every single brand, one watch. So which is from A to Z, from AP to Bell & Rose to Cartier to Graham to Hublot. Every single brand I collected one piece. And after 2-3 years, when I look back those pieces that I've collected, and I look at the price of the pieces that I've collected, my value actually depreciated. So I really did mistakes as well, George. It's not that from the first day itself I've been making money and I've been so lucky making money. Because to me, I think Derick knows that every successful investors, you must go through the period of making losses. Then only you can become a better investor itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So taking that question, something that you said just now, you said that you look at watch prices every day, right? I'm curious, what do you look at? Because obviously for many people, they know where to look at stocks. But when you say you look at watch prices every single day, where are you looking at? Are you looking on, you can't be looking at eBay, right?
eBay is definitely one of them. So I can just share with you. Yes, can share with you. So you see, a lot of people, when they come into Switch watch, as I mentioned to you, A to Z, there are so many brands is there in the market. So later, I think Josh remind me to share with you what are the brands that I put my money in. Okay, I would like to share with everybody. And there is actually a trend in terms of the design, the color, and the size of a watch in different times. So during those days, I think that any Rolex watches that comes with black color face is the safest to bet, because that was the norm, that was the trend that people likes to have a black face for their watch. But if you do not keep on following the trend of the industry and the pricing itself, then you might not know that at this point of time, actually for some Rolex models like Daytona, actually now their white face command more than their black face compared to 10 years ago. And at this moment in generally speaking, in the watch industry, blue is the new black, where people actually like blue. And also if you are talking about different region in this part of the world, like you're talking about Malaysia, Singapore, and this place compared to North Asia, like Japan itself and Korea, actually they prefer white face compared to black face. So every day I'm reading places like Hodinkee is a very good place for you to actually pick up very good articles, news about new watches launching, what's the price. Monochrome is also very good. Block watch is also very good. Pricing wise, internationally, I think Chrono24 is a very good reference site. And then eBay is also quite a good reference site. Rolex.com is a good reference site, but the price that you see on the model on the Rolex website, Josh, I think you know that if you take a stack of cash, walk into Rolex boutique and say, I want my Daytona now, he'll say, I'm sorry, sir, can you please leave your name? We'll call you back in 3 years' time. So those are very good reference point for you to make, and those are the places that actually I will be spending time to read and do research every day. And then, like for example, the trend of 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when Panerai and the Royal Offshore, they are very big, because that time people like big watches. Even they just came up with the huge 41mm watches. But now the trend has went back to a smaller, classier size, where that is in demand and fetch a better value right now. So it is not by chance that you don't do research is like stock. You don't do research, you'll be able to buy the right stocks. But for watch, you need to do your own research. You need to understand what's the fundamental, and then what brands and what type of marketing actually drive the value for the brand. And I always tell people, Swiss watch is like blue chips, and Japanese watch is like penny stocks, right? And limited edition watches or new release is like IPO. It never guarantee you profits. So those are my quotes. Yeah.
So since you talked about the market, can you tell us a little bit about the market in general, like the luxury market and the watch market in a general sense? Because I think many people may not understand how the market works. So maybe you want to give us an idea behind it, you know?
Okay, in terms of general, the whole thing?
General, and also narrow down to watches.
Can, no problem. I mean, you look at, I think that first of all, I'll start with brand first. I think Derick and I know Derick has a very nice Tag Heuer watch that he don't dare to wear it when he's in Malaysia, right? So I know Josh loves Ming watch a lot, all right? I do love Ming watch a lot as well. So please invite him to Fire Chat as well. I'll be happy to be his fans, right? So looking at the hierarchy of brands in watches, a lot of people has this very wrong concept that the more expensive watch that you bought, which means at the top of the hierarchy. I mean, if you want, I can show you a chart later, which brand is in which hierarchy. Do you want me to show? Do you want me to show now?
That'll be good.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Please go ahead if you have something to show us.
Let me show with you. This is something very, very, very interesting. This is something very, very interesting. Share slides. All right. Yeah. So this is, can you see that this screen itself?
Yes.
Okay, you look at this screen itself over here. Let me blow it up bigger for everybody. Okay, look at this screen itself. At the top part of this particular hierarchy, okay, you can actually see that this particular, there are only a few brands at a very, very high level of, very, very high level in the hierarchy. So you can see brands like Irway, Richard Mille, MB&F, Jacob & Co, Bovet, and the rest. So a lot of people in the market, they will think that if today I buy a very expensive brand at the top of the hierarchy, confirm I will make money because it's expensive. It has to be a good value for me to invest in those pieces. So I just have to tell you, the answer is no. In this hierarchy, doesn't mean that your brand is at the top. it guarantees you a very good return, right? So let's look at where is Rolex, right? Rolex is not even in the high-end luxury category. It is only in the luxury watch category, like Omega and WC and the rest. But if you ask me, in the whole market, Rolex is like liquid cash. You can actually basically buy a Rolex in Malaysia. You can sell it off in Singapore. You can go to Singapore, this passion watch, or you go to Singapore. The hotel which I stay, I think Derick, you might know, opposite the hotel that I stay, there's
NBS.
a lot of, sorry?
NBS, is it? Marina Bay Sands.
Yeah. and also in Thailand, and also in Hong Kong, and also in Indonesia, in Korea. I have been quite privileged to travel around the region due to my job nature. I can rest assure you, brands like Rolex is as good as like cash. You can buy from one country and sell it in another country anytime without any issues, Josh. So the first thing first, I want to tell everybody now, don't have this myth that when you buy an ultra luxury watch, your return is good. It doesn't guarantee that, Josh. So you look at there are 4 brands that personally I like the most. I'm going to share with you that at the ultra luxury watch, the one that is to me is an investment grade watch is actually a Richard Mille, right? So in the high-end luxury category, there are only 2 brands that falls into my category of investment grade watch, which is Patek Philippe and also Audemars Piguet. Okay, and then for luxury watch itself, the one that fall into my investment grade brand is actually Rolex, right? So there are other brands who is actually picking up quite fast, something like Tudor, which is the brother or the sibling of Rolex. They are under the same company of Rolex, and also brand Seiko itself. These are the few brands that these few years they have been doing well. Their pre-owned value has been holding pretty well, but they are still, it is still quite a big distance compared to Rolex, Patek Philippe, AP, and also Richard Mille in terms of the returns. So this is one thing generic that I want to share with all the people that is in with this fire chat today first.
So when you talk about, when it comes to the watches and what's like a journey for them, if let's say they want to like buy and sell, right? What's the typical journey in that? So that, imagine if one day one of our listeners here today, they want to just get involved in it, right? What's the first step? Do they just walk into a store, buy it, walk to another store, sell it? What's the journey like?
Okay, just to share with everybody, the 4 brands that I personally say that is an investment grade watches like Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, AP, and Rolex. We just look at specifically a standard stainless steel sports model, Josh and Derick, which means that we zoomed out even more after the particular brand itself, the 4 brands. What are the models to buy? I will only buy sports model. What type of material it is being made of? I will only go for stainless steel. I won't go for precious metals like platinum, white gold, rose gold, or yellow gold, because this 3 criteria itself actually guarantee you a very good investment return. And the journey is very simple. If today you walk into, just trust me, I told Derick already, just trust me. I just saw Paul is in this particular talk right now. Just trust me, any of you, okay, tomorrow if you are free during lunchtime, drive your car to the nearest Rolex boutique shop, go in with a stack of cash or even with a credit card, and tell them that I want to buy a stainless steel sports model for Rolex, and see what type of feedback you will get from the salesperson. Or just go into any Patek Philippe boutique or AP and say that I want to buy a Nautilus right now. Can I get one or not? The answer is no. So if you're thinking of buying a watch from a authorized boutique right now, Josh, the answer is you won't have a chance to get a new piece of watch itself. You will walk out very disappointed because there's no stock and the waiting list is as good as 3 years minimum. And then I just heard, I just got off interview yesterday with one of the newspaper in Malaysia. My partner was there. Previously, Patek Philippe still take waiting list. Now they don't even take waiting list at all. So which means that the access is almost as good as zero. So a lot of people in the market where they can get all these type of watches is they actually have to purchase it from the grey market. So there are a lot of grey market shops in Malaysia. I think is in, Derick, I remember the one is in Sim Lim. Is it the one that sells a lot of IT one in Singapore, opposite the Sim Lim Square?
Sim Lim Square?
Is it? Singapore.
Sim Lim.
It's opposite Funan, is it? Peninsula Plaza.
Correct.
Peninsula Plaza.
Peninsula
Peninsula Plaza.
opposite Funan.
Also in Singapore, I think that one that's a place where you can actually walk in and get a pre-owned watch or even a brand new watch. But for Malaysia, which I'm much more familiar with, you can actually go into places like Bazaar, Times Square. You have easily about 10 shops over there. You can easily go into places like Airport Mall. They have easily about 10 shops over there. And then you can actually go to a more high-end pre-owned shops like Watch Club. This is the brand that I'm partnering with, which is Watch Club Paprika. They are the grey market watch player in the market that offers a huge range of new and pre-owned watches, even until Richard Mille level. So yesterday, I think in the whole interview with the newspaper, we have displayed close to about 11 million worth of watches. So I think we have, at this point of time, we have the most Rolex stainless steel sports model, brand new, in Clam Valley right now. Yeah. So the experience is, you want to go to a Rolex boutique and buy, you will walk out very disappointed. Okay, but if you go to a grey market and buy, you might walk out very disappointed. It's because you might tell me that, hey, Dato, why the price that is in the grey market is so much more higher compared to the Rolex boutique retail selling price? The reason is because you can't get it from the Rolex boutique. You have to get it from the grey market if you do not want to wait for 3 years. And if you are lucky, they call you. So there is actually a demand in the grey market for a brand new watch and also for a pre-owned Rolex. So there's a saying, there's actually no old Rolexes. There are only new owners for old Rolexes.
Since you talked about Patek and Rolex, right? So because this has been, I'm very sure in the market, a lot of people have been talking about it, because these are the brands that have been said that they have stopped production, right? So what does that mean to you, and what does that mean to the industry, right? Is it significant?
I think during the COVID pandemic, I've shared this in one of my videos done with equity trackers, that a lot of people actually ask me and say, hey, Dato, I think maybe during pandemic time, these brands might give discount because the sales is so bad. And it is so bad that they have to shut down their production for 1 quarter. So actually, brands like Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and also Rolex, they shut down their production for a quarter. But George and Derick, I mean, all of us understand how a market works. It's always a demand and a supply,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a production was being shut down for 3 months, which means the supplies itself actually dropped, but the demand is still there. The demand is still the same, George. And to be honest, if you look at Malaysia right now, yesterday, I think our Bank Negara just announced another 25 bits of interest cut.
Yeah.
I think we are very close to what Singapore is offering right now. If our interest that we keep our money in the bank is only 1.75%. If you put your money in the bank, every year you are losing money because the inflation itself is definitely more than 1.75%. So, and during this pandemic, a lot of investors have actually made very good money from the stock market, and they use the money that they have made in the stock market, went over to our shop and buy out. I can say that they really step up our Rolex. Step up. And then now, I think Malaysia now is back to RMCO. We have actually keep in touch with the whole market. Actually, the price of all the watches, including Rolex, PP, and Seikos, all went up. It all went up, which is because the liquidity of cash is in the market already. And then I think one day just now, Josh, if I want to stress again, because I myself, I'm an ex-investment banker. I'm a very risk adverse guy. I'm very concerned about my money. I'm very careful about my money. So when it comes to investment, liquidity is number one. So any investment that, whether, because if you sometimes you see some good investment return is on paper, then you cannot realize it, you cannot liquidate, it's no good. But for watches, from my experience so many years, liquidity is not an issue at all. Yeah.
So I mean, Derick, I want to ask you this because just now Dato touched upon the fact that you did some analysis on the overall market, right? So what has it told you?
Okay. As we all know, probably a lot of people know also, I've been in the financial market for 21 years. So I know about stock market, bond market, currency market. I invest in gold and silver, commodity market, also in properties. But really, Dato is the one who introduced me into the watch investment, just like how Paul introduced Dato to watch investment as well. So I actually got interested into watch investment because of Dato. All right, so and because of that, yes, actually this afternoon I actually went to do more research on my own before this talk. And as we all know, timing and you is about cycle analysis. And like what I always say, there are cycles in our everyday life, even in investment world. But as I did so-called research on so-called luxury watch just now, I came across so-called an article that talks about Rolex Submariner. All right, Rolex Submariner. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dato. Rolex Submariner was first launched in 1957. All right.
Yes.
And from 1957 until the data was until 2014, I think. The chart of the so-called the Rolex Submariner is like that, no? Then I specifically look at the period of time where there's crisis, like around 1980 and around 2008. So the chart is like that. At most, during crisis is a horizontal line. Then after that, it continue to go up. So the whole chart is up like that, up like that. But generally, it's going up. So to me, is where can we find this kind of investment? To me, this is a timeless investment that don't care what kind of economic situation, be it recession or booming time, the direction is more or less always up. Also, if you are a long-term investor, that means you want to every day meddle with the up and down of the stock market or the gold prices or the or currency, all this thing, then probably watch, especially luxury watch segment, is something probably you should look at. You can buy already. I mean, as you grow in value, somehow you can wear it, no? That's why every time I see Dato, he wear a new watch, so you can enjoy wear something that will grow in value. That's why it made me very excited because it's so fascinating. Like I can't wear a stock when I go out. If I invest in wine, I drink finish already, then go toilet over already. But I can always wear a Rolex watch, and like for example, if I want to travel overseas, I believe it probably will be tough to carry a 1 kilo gold bar, let's say across to Malaysia or Indonesia. But if I wear a Rolex watch, it's a watch, right? It's so simple. You get what I mean? So that's why it got me very excited about this investment vehicle, which before that, frankly, I have no interest. I heard about it, but I wasn't interested until Dato introduced it to me. That's why I feel it's very important that tonight we share all this good information with the public so that hopefully maybe they can do more analysis or they can even participate together with us. All right, back to you, George.
Thank you, Derick. So back to Dato Michael. I want to ask a personal question. How many watch do you actually own?
Yeah, I think this one in my previous life, I think people ask. I'm very seriously, I'm very worried about LHDN coming after me. So I will tell you that it's in hundreds, but I cannot tell you roughly how many hundreds. Yeah, seriously, I'm no joke, man. This one is Josh, don't get me into trouble.
Okay,
So
so
if
but
you need a place to store your watch, you can
Yeah,
consider.
my safe is getting bigger. Yeah, seriously, my safe is getting bigger. Yeah,
my house is a safe. Please come.
yeah.
But okay, so
Agree.
maybe you tell us how you got to accumulate that. Did you buy just like, or did you kind of like trade and keep accumulating through your your existing assets? So how do you go about it?
Okay, I think just now what Derick said is true because to be honest, as an investment banker, I've been looking at so many other asset classes for a long term, for a very, very long term. Because I myself, as I mentioned, I think Derick knows that I don't like fluctuations, and to be honest, I don't like to have a lot of too many variables in my life. I like to have something which is very secure, that I can feel, I can touch, I can see, and I can sleep well at night, right? What Josh was asking is like how I sorry, just how I what just mentioned about.
Mm-hmm. How do you accumulate to that number? Did you trade, keep buying and
Okay,
selling, or did you just keep accumulating?
I can just tell you that I wish that I can just only accumulate. I wish because Patek Philips slogan is you never actually own a Patek Philips. You're actually merely taking care for the next generation.
Yes. Right.
But that time, to be honest, I've made some mistakes, as I mentioned. Just now, you remember I told you that from A to Z, all the Swiss watches, I've actually owned one piece. So up to a certain point, actually, I do a portfolio restructuring for my watch. It's like when you buy some lousy stocks, Derek, you have to cut off some of the losses and reinvest into some good stocks. So that time, I take a very painful restructuring of my watches. So I actually trade in, for example, I trade in my IWC and I trade in my Cartier and my Chauffeur. I trade in 3 watches for just 1 Rolex. Because at the time, I believe that this particular brand, the losses is done. But if I switch my portfolio from these brands into a brand that I believe it will continue to grow, it is a better decision for me. So I can say that I have no regrets switching over to the brands that I wanted to, but sometimes I need to keep upgrading my watches. So I mean that I don't think I can keep on buying Patek Philips. So I did trade in some of my watches for another brand. But if you ask me if I have that holding power, Josh, I will not want to sell any of them. I will just want to keep as long as possible because I know that I'm doing a favor for my next generation. Yeah.
So how does one treat luxury watches as an investment anyway? I mean, like buy and hold. Is there a precedence in the market? Is there like a fund in the market that does it? So how does a person go into it as an investment?
Okay, you see, I mean that maybe Singapore itself, the financial environment is much more matured compared to Malaysia. I think there's a statistics showing that let me run a very fast one. There is a statistics actually showing that Malaysia and Singapore. This is Malaysia. This is the growth of Swiss watch growth in terms of countries. You can see that Malaysia and Singapore is ranked quite high.
Dato, sorry, are you sharing a screen? Could you share again if you are?
I am sharing my screen. Can you see me?
Can you share again? Can you share it again? Because we unshared
We
it.
can't see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Can you see it now?
Yes. Thank you so much.
See it now?
Yeah.
You look at
Yes, yes.
Singapore. Singapore is ranked like number 7. Hong Kong is ranked number 1. US is ranked number 2, and Malaysia is ranked at number 29. But you look at the growth from year to year itself is tremendous. It's tremendous. So actually, in the whole world, there is one luxury index created by Knight Frank. I think everybody knows who is Knight Frank. Knight Frank is a very famous company, investment company in the States. They have a Knight Frank luxury index who track all the luxury goods itself, right? So watch is definitely one of the asset classes under their portfolio. And you look at the return of watches under the Knight Frank Index. On average, their CAGR is about 10% or slightly more than 10% for the past 10 years. So there is actually big companies looking into this. And you won't be surprised, even Bloomberg will cover watch news. Like for example, in 2017, just like I mentioned to Derick, the world most expensive stainless steel wristwatch was auctioned at Christie, which is a Rolex Daytona Paul Newman. The piece of watch is auctioned at the price of 17.8 million US dollar. Josh, it is that crazy. It is that crazy. So if you compare to the price of that watch when it was purchased, I don't think any stock can beat that type of return, to be honest. And again, that piece of watch itself adds a bit more value compared to the rest is because it was worn by Paul Newman, the star itself, the racing star itself. So it adds a lot of value to it. But because of that particular piece of watches, the watch is auction. Actually, from that year onwards, Rolex watches fly again, and especially the model that Derick likes the most, Daytona, fly even higher.
Actually, Dato, maybe you can share with us, in the end, it was sold at 17.4 million, but what price was it bought at?
480 US dollar.
So 480 US dollar to 17 million within about 15 years, right?
I can't remember I can't remember actually the date, but it's about that.
Yeah, it's about 15 years. Of course, that will add on to the so-called the star power of Mr. Paul. All right. So, but you can see the so-called how much the from initially when it was bought until it was finally auctioned out, the huge gap of in the price after 15 years. All right, from 400 plus to 17 million. All right.
I can show you over here. This is the watch itself.
Yes.
This is the watch itself. I think the Crazy Rich Asian, the movie itself, actually there's a brother. There's a watch which is very similar to this, was also shown that movie. It's also because during that time it was really the hype of it.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Wow, 17 million. Didn't expect that. So that comes to my next question actually, because we're talking about the prices that's going in the hundreds of thousands into the millions, and the word luxury is something that people would deem it as a rich person's game, right? So what do you think, right? Are retail investors priced out of this potential investment? Because we're talking about it as an investment, but the numbers sound like retail investors can't participate. Right. So do you have an opinion? This question is for both of you. Maybe Derick, maybe you want to give your opinion first.
All right. Probably a lot of people like me, before I know about this segment, they will thought that must be very expensive. I cannot participate. It's only for the rich. All these things. Then is until I again meet Dato. All right. So he explained to me about all this mechanism, what goes through. Then I realized, actually, we can actually work out with so-called certain watch shop to probably come up with a program that retail investors like us, we can participate in. All right. So which are Timing and you, we are actually working with Dato. That's why any Timing and you members here, yes, we are going to have our Timing and you watch club, and we are going to have a so-called program that can let us participate in this very, I would say, the luxury watch segment. All right. So to me, we Timing you, we do working with Dato to come up with something, but probably I'll let Dato talk a bit more about how we actually do it. How about that, Dato?
Sure, no problem. I think what just now Josh was telling me that there's a perception in the market that only rich man, luxury watch, rich man's game, and sometimes people will say that the rich man's actually waste money on buying watches. But if you do not understand how a watch work for you as an investment, it will be a waste. You will say that people waste money. But if you view that buying a watch as an investment and you can make money out of it if you buy the right brand and the right model, all right, it's actually not a waste. It's actually helping you to preserve your value and grow the value furthermore, right? So I've spoken to Derick, like for example, any one of you can actually go to Rolex boutique and just buy a sports model. But as I mentioned to you that it is near to impossible that they will have any stocks in the boutique. And also, even if you go to gray market itself, some of them, if you ask me, the price is different shops. The price difference is slightly here and there, right? So what myself and Derick we are thinking of, we wanted to create a community. Okay, maybe we name it as a Timing and You Watch Club, where we will share a lot more information about what is happening in the watch industry. What are the new brands is coming out? What are the movement of the prices every month? What are the new trends of the watch, the price, the size and models that is undervalued or is up and coming? And then we are also coming up with a program where public can actually participate in, like for example, this is Watch Investment, which is my company's logo. We are partnering with Watch Club Gallery in Malaysia to actually help members that if today you love watch itself, you can actually buy the watch and wear it, and you want to sell it, you can sell it back to us. Not an issue at all. Or if today you say that, Dato, I don't really like watch, I still like my iWatch, I still like my Garmin watch, but I don't want to miss the boat. I still want to enjoy the profit from the investment that come from luxury watches. Can you help us or not? We are coming up with a program together with Derick. We are going to help members, only TNY, only Timing and You members, okay, to help them to buy watches and then help them to sell the watch with a profit, and then we will share the profit with the members. So this is something that we are thinking of doing that. We haven't finalized. Hopefully we'll be able to finalize as soon as possible, because we really want to make this work, and we really want to make it like, who knows, one day Derick, you'll be the next step friend.
Okay, I wish so. All right. Yeah, thank you.
So, as you know, I've of course been in the startup industry for about the last 10 years, and I've seen many different startups, companies, or even funds, right, that wants to go into this space. We've seen all kinds, Dato. I'm sure you've seen them, you know, into whiskey, into art, right, and of course watches, right? So, what would you say makes this different? Because also there are many of them that claim to be that, but they're actually scams. I think the market is, there's a lot of people who want to go into the luxury segment, but maybe they, because of scams or they don't even know how to see a good watch, right? Because there's so many fakes. We are in the region where AAA fakes are the norm, right? So, right, I've seen them. I can get a AAA fake anytime for Rolex, right? I don't buy them, but they exist everywhere, right? So how do people, how do you view what you are sharing compared to what has been shared previously? Like there's many people trying to do a fund or a mechanism to go into luxury. I've even heard blockchain implementations. And how do people avoid scams, right? Is there any indicators like what is a legit investment into luxury and what is not?
Okay, I think in this watch industry itself, the first thing that comes before price is actually trust. So that's why you can see that I think Josh has worked with brands like JLC before. I think that brand itself carries a lot of weight in watch industry. So companies like Patek, companies like Rolex, they manage a brand very well, and this is where they also take care of the client's value, which means the money that they put into the watch, right? But there are a lot of shops in Singapore and in Malaysia. I think the reputation itself stands for the brand. So I mean that in Singapore, like for example, as I mentioned to you, opposite the Funan, there are so many shops there. I think Derick, if you go and check with them, those shops have been there I think easily more than 20 years.
Yeah.
So it is so old. You can look at first of all, you can look at the salesperson, the inside, look at the renovation of that particular shops. Malaysia also, there are a few very good shops with very good reputation. So reputation wise itself, it is very, very important. Like for example, the brand that, the company that we are working with, Watch Investment and Watch Club Gallery in Publica, which is, let me share with you, which is this company. We have been in the market for the longest period of time, and the brand itself carries a lot of weight. Okay, and Watch Club itself has been interviewed in a lot of local newspaper before, and they have been there for almost 10 years. And to be honest, if you really, any one of you outside who wants to buy a luxury watch, it's not that I don't want to encourage you to not trust your friend, because sometimes your friend might make some wrong judgment call himself that he's not aware. So when it comes to luxury products, first of all, you need to look for a particular shop that has a very good reputation, easy to access, okay? And that particular shop itself will provide guaranteed buyback of the watches that you buy from them. So Josh, this is a very key thing. So if today I am selling you a watch that I don't have confidence, why should I buy back from you? So what we provide over here in Watch Club is we provide guaranteed buyback on a certain models, which is the investment grade models that we encourage you all to do. All right. So that one, reputation, guarantee buyback is definitely very, very important. And then I think third is very important is liquidity itself. So if as I mentioned to you, the first thing first come to me in any sort of investment, liquidity itself has to be there. So these are the services that we guarantee to our members. On that side, TNY Watch Club members, liquidity is no issues. The reputation of the company is no issues. You can go and check with the people in this industry. And to be honest, look at the models that this company is taking, right? And compared to some of the companies. I don't think any companies in Malaysia, you can walk in with a Richard Mille and tell the boss that, can I cash out a 1.2 million cash for my Richard Mille? I don't think that is a lot. I think maybe there's only one company that can do that, which is the one that you're looking at it right now.
So talking about stores, I mean, of course, myself, yourself, we've been looking at these watch stores, and they're right, they have probably been there for a decade and all that. But I think that's also some of the barrier, right? Because, you know, some of those shops are very old and very small, and they look like I don't mean to offend anybody, but some of them look like they can't afford to keep a store running, you know, because they're so old, right? And there's no refurbishment for the last 10 years. So, and I guess that's a barrier for a lot of people to go there and buy, correct? Especially you're thinking about, I'm buying a watch, like you say, a Richard Mille, I'm going to sell it for 1.2 million, right?
Yes.
Ringgit or whatever currency you're looking at. It's still a large amount of money going into such a tiny shop. And you know, it doesn't spark confidence, right? I think it's a very human thing. What do you have to say about that? Because you have probably a lot of experience dealing with these kind of stores, right? So maybe you can let our listeners know a bit more about that.
Okay, if you ask me itself, I have purchased quite a lot of things from online. So I think the very key thing when people purchase things online is actually the review. All right, the review of this particular shop, how good they are. So at this point of time, I think internet is so easy, it's accessible everywhere. Actually, you just Google whether this particular shop itself, how good is the reputation. It is shown easily. Josh, it cannot run. And if this shop itself, in the past few years, it has been appearing in medias, those big medias itself. I don't think that they are here for a short run. And then to be honest, size for a watch shop itself doesn't really matter, because if you ask me, I would prefer the size as small as possible. Because when you have a very big shop, right? I mean that sometimes when some customers come in, they want us to show them like 10 Rolex a go. Our answer is no. You just see model by model first. So we just need to be very, very careful and run a very, very tight space and very, very focused customer service where our salesperson will be focusing in actually serving at our shop. At one time is 2. So we're going to give a very good focus, and also we want to make sure that the watches is in good hands. So if you ask me, it is different. It's not like a car showroom where you need a huge garage to go and show people. And also, Josh, as I mentioned to you, I'm a vintage car lover itself. So as Paul. But imagine if today I have 500 watches. If it's not watches, if I have 500 vintage cars, Josh, I think I need a stadium to park all my collections, right? But look at the size of a shop, even though it's so small, like Watch Club. Yesterday we show a value of watch close to 11 million ringgit. Size doesn't matter because it's so small, it's so easy to carry. As what Derick mentioned, right? I mean, today if you are in a crisis, and this is a real story happened in Indonesia many years ago.
Yes.
That time when they want to leave the country, you know how many bags of rupiah you need to carry when you want to run away? I think you'll die, man. You have to carry how many kilos of yellow gold in your bag? I think you cannot run, man. But you can easily carry a 1.2 million worth of Richard Mille from Indonesia, fly to this Malaysia, fly to Singapore, and cash out. Even though you might not get back 100%, 1.2 million, you might get back 1 million, but that is still hardcore cash, Derick. And you can put 10 Richard Mille or 10 Rolex in your bag, check in first class. Nobody will ask you why you're bringing so many watches because you're out for holiday. So mobility itself is also another issue to me. So mobility, first is liquidity, second thing is mobility, third is maintenance. So if I want to invest in something that the maintenance itself is high, it's expensive, like a vintage car, myself and Paul flew all the way to UK just to get some spare parts for his MG. That is how true it is because there's no more spare parts in Malaysia. We have to go to UK and bring it back. But if for watches itself, first of all, the maintenance of watch itself is pretty low cost. Less, for example, like a Rolex itself, you might spend about 2,000 or 2,000, 3,000 is a max to service a watch. It can actually serve you easily a minimum of 5 years and above. But if you want to service a vintage car, George, I tell you, first of all, you need to get a very good mechanic. And trust me, because the car is old, you might almost need to start the car every day to make sure that you don't die like a 90 years old man, all right? And if you actually goes into whiskey or into red wine, you must have a special chamber to actually keep it. And last but not least, what Derick says, I want to enjoy the investment that I put in money. I wear it every day. Even though it's with scratches, it doesn't affect your second value. Scratches on watches doesn't affect your second value as long as you don't make a huge ding or change the shape of the whole watch, broke the dial or everything. It doesn't affect the value. But if like what Derick said today, I'm going to have Yam Seng with Josh and Derick, let's finish our 20,000 worth of whiskey. After 3 hours, the 20,000 worth of whiskey is in the toilet. I can't enjoy. I can just see, but I can't enjoy. So those are the few points that I myself hold it very, very close to my heart when it comes to investment.
I want to ask a bit of a silly question because, right, you just mentioned to us in the beginning that if you walk into a Rolex store, for example, you're not going to get stock, which is true. Yeah. I agree. And then you have to go into these smaller independents, right, who will be selling it or either on a secondary market, whether it's pre-owned or new old stock or new stock, but they will probably have inventory. So why would anybody walk into a boutique brand store then? If they can't go there and buy it, they have to go to an independent. So what is the purpose of having these beautiful Rolex stores and going there when you can't buy it in the first place?
Okay. Trust me, all the Rolex boutiques, they are still selling models that nobody wants. I can't say nobody wants. It's not so in demand. They still sell you some dead jars. They still sell you some oyster perpetual in purple color, in gold color, in some color. Those are not very hot models.
Oh.
And I think they are actually they need to actually maintain their brand itself to the market that there is a point of reference for you actually to go and refer it. right? And that's the reason why I have told so many people that why not don't trust me? I think Singapore MRT is pretty easy. Just hop on to one MRT, get stopped in front of a nearest boutique, walk inside with a credit card and say, just give me a Daytona or just give me a GMT2 or a Submariner and tell me what is the answer. Yeah, I'll be very happy that if you get one. Because if you manage to hold one, get one, the moment you walk out from that particular Rolex boutique and you go to any pre-owned or gray market shop, you make immediate, I use the word, instant profit. As simple as that.
So the $1 million question would be is, because you also brought it up, is what brands should people look at, right? If they're looking at investment.
Yeah, I've mentioned to everybody, there are 4 brands that I personally classify them as investment grade. Investment grade are watches that, if you ask me, liquidity itself comes number 1. It has to be number 1, right? So the 4 brands that I always hold very close to my heart, and I trust them a lot, and I have experience in trading them for years already. You can go to my this Facebook page itself and see I have actually put in what are the watches that I've bought and how much I've sold in which year itself. So if you ask me itself, the 4 brands, namely first is Rolex. Rolex is a brand that I trust a lot, all right, because it's like liquid cash. Second brand is actually AP. And then third, which is Audemars Piguet, and then third is actually Patek Philippe, and then the last is actually Richard Mille. So you look at my watch investment Facebook page itself. If you like, go to my Facebook page. I've also put in a very simple 6 principle of doing watch investment, right? So first of all, if today any of you are in front of camera or in front of this video, if you want to go into watch investment, first of all, you must love watch first. You must have passion. I always tell Derick, if you want to talk watch with me about the history, about the model, about the price, 3 days, not enough. Not enough at all, right? So second thing is, if you really want to make a maximum return of the investment that you put in for watches, you must be able to accept a pre-owned watch, which is a second-hand watch. Okay, Josh, so this one is very, very crucial. Third is you must know which brand to buy. As I just disclosed to everybody, the 4 brands that I personally put them as an investment grade. And then you must know which model to buy. So like for example, I can say 90% or 95% of Rolex sports model actually guarantees you return. And then for AP, the Royal Oak gives you very, very good return. Some of the Royal Offshore gives you very, very good return. And then I think Patek Philippe, Nautilus, and Aquanaut, the last year, Derick, Singapore is so blessed because Patek Philippe have chosen Singapore to have the exhibition. I have to fly down all the way from KL to look at it. And I can't even take a photo of a Nautilus. I was like, what is this, man? Inside the exhibition, everybody is looking at the particular watch itself. So if you ask me, this one is point number 4. Point number 5 is you must only get a stainless steel made watch. Don't be distracted by those fancy white gold, platinum, rose gold is the in thing now. I want a rose gold, I want a red gold, or yellow gold is the Wall Street of, wow, this is our Wall Street type of feeling. No, stick back to stainless steel itself. And if you want to buy a pre-owned watch, better go for something which is on a full set, which means that you have your watch, your certificate, the box itself ready. This will give you a better, maybe 20% more compared to those which is not in full set. But again, doesn't say that not full set the watch can't sell. You can sell, but at a lower rate. But again, when you buy that time, you also have to pay a bit more for a full set pre-owned watch. So where can you actually access to all these watches? It's through Watch Club or through Timing and You Watch Club as well.
So since you talked about the 4 brands, just very quickly, if you were to put at it in a weightage, like assuming it's a portfolio, how much weightage will you put on a Rolex and how much would you put it on a Patek Philippe, for example, or an AP or any of the brands, sorry?
To be honest, if I want to wear different models every day, maybe I'll Rolex because I mean that they have more range of sports model that can make money. But if I want to make a statement itself, maybe I will just only go for one or two Richard Mille, which the return itself is actually higher than Rolex, but the entry point itself is so much expensive, right? And then for I would definitely love to have a Nautilus. It's a classic watch that I love from the first day itself, right? And then the last but not least is definitely a AP. I love the Royal Oak design very, very much. So weightage itself, my huge weightage will be on Rolexes, and then the rest it will be like PP, AP, and if I have enough cash, I will put in a few Richard Mille. Not one, a few if I have the cash.
So last question before we go into Q&A, and this is for the both of you. Considering that now the world is still in a lockdown, right? Do you think that now is the best time, right now? Is it the best time or a good time to invest into luxury watches? Are they really recession-proof? Yeah, what's your comment? What makes them so special? That's a final question.
Okay. To be honest, give me a second. I think I need to switch on my PowerPoint. Just give me a second. Okay, right.
Maybe Derick answer first, if that's the case.
So if you ask me,
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay. So Dato, go ahead first.
Yeah, Dato, you go ahead first.
So if you ask me, to be honest, investing in watches, there is no best time. Every single time when you have money, just go and buy a Rolex sports model and keep it. If you ask me that seriously, but again, if you ask me whether during this type of pandemic or this type of uncertainty times, people want to put their money in safe havens, as I mentioned just now. They want to hold something that is recession-proof. They want to hold something that is easy to liquidate. So I personally think that now watch itself is a very good space to go into, to park your money with. And also, if you ask me, with the current interest rate that we are enjoying, there's no point of me keeping most of my money in the banks. I rather put on my watch and I can enjoy it every day. And when I need it, I just walk into any shops and sell it. So if you ask me, the reason why I say now this is the best is because you need something certain during uncertain times. And also with the shortage of production for 1 quarter, in Switzerland for the 3 brands itself. Again, today, this video is recorded. I can tell you the price of these Swiss watch brands is going nowhere, but only up. Only up. It's recorded. You all can play back. I mean, after a few years and say that, hey, Mike, that time I should have listened to you, go and make some profit in the stock market and then move my money to go and buy a few Rolexes. I wear it every day.
Thank you. So, Derick, what about you?
Okay. So if you ask me, I think at this point of time, because like what I've always been saying, we are in the midst of a very huge bond bubble. So, and I'm looking at this sovereign debt crisis as probably going to implode fully in maybe next year or 2022. So the thing is, I don't know about the audience tonight. Probably for those of you guys who are not familiar about maybe stock investment or buying gold or silver, all these things, probably luxury watch is probably something you can look at, because like what or even Dato has shared, is something that it seems only got one direction, or it's going up. And even during recession time, it go in the horizontal. It doesn't dip at all. It go in the horizontal, then it continue to go up. So if you are someone who probably are not very good investment, or you are new to investment, probably luxury watch is something that it may be a good start for you. Don't be so-called, I would say, don't be frightened by the watch, by the name luxury watch. You say, wow, they need a lot of money. Not really true. So, but because we are working with Dato, that means Tammy and you, we are working with Dato to come up with a program so that even ordinary folks, but of course they need to be Tammy and you members, they can participate in this luxury watch investment space. All right, so if you ask me, I think now is actually a good time. If you don't really know about stock market, like for me, I do see that we are going to see a melt up probably for the next few months in the US stock market. But there will be a lot of volatility. If you can't accept that kind of volatility, then probably stock market is not for you. All right, so probably then luxury watch is something that probably you can look at as an investment that, and we have a Dato with so much experience. I myself have to admit, I probably am experienced in stock market, bond, currency, or even a commodity, but I'm no expert in luxury watch. But we are working with Dato, who has gone through the so-called, like what he mentioned earlier, all good investors, we have to make true mistakes. It's only through mistakes then we learn. I have paid my tuition fee within for the last 21 years, so now I'm more or less all right in my investment or trading. Dato has also made mistake and learned. So right now we are partnering with Dato, who have gone through all the mistakes, and now he can better advise us which are the category of so-called luxury watch to look into. For example, tonight I learned we should look at stainless steel. If not, if you ask me, I'm a crazy about gold type of people. I surely go and chiong and buy one with a lot of gold. But that probably may not be the best investment or the which can give the best investment return. But now at least I know, oh, probably I should go for stainless steel. You see, I don't need to go and make the mistake myself. I learned from Dato Ken already. Yeah. All right, so it's really an honor that TNY can work with Dato and even Watch Club to come up with a program so that even ordinary folks can participate in. I think this is very good. All right, so back to you, George.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Okay, Dato, go ahead.
Derick, I want to add something. You see, I mean that I think me and Josh know Derick for the longest period of time. Derick has never tell me that he wants to buy a watch. Right. So after our previous trip to Jakarta, and after we spoke about watches, Derick has been asking me, hey, Dato, can you help me to get a Daytona? This so Daytona can this price range can. I mean, guys, to be honest, there are a lot of rich people out there. They are not stupid people. And why rich people are buying up so many luxury watches, it's not because they are rich. And it's not because they want to show off. And it's also not because they are stupid. They know where to park their money. All right, that's very, very important. And then second thing, we even have friends in Malaysia who are fund managers. A few of them, even I can't name the name, they are fund managers and even some investment bank. Usually investment bankers research, which is the head of research or people who write research about a certain stocks. Singapore as well, because previously I was in investment banking, look at on their wrist what watch they are wearing. That's a simple hint. I mean that the people that we make an example are very smart people. They have done their research. They know what they are doing. They know why they want to park their money with watches. So this actually gives us a very good hint already about why watch itself is so safe and why more and more people park it in watches is because the demand is way more than supply. When the demand is way more than supply, there's only one way for the price to go. It's only up. It's only up.
Yes.
Thank you, Dato. So let's go into Q&A. And I think that it's surprising. We do have quite a bit of questions, and there's a lot of questions on brands. I will skip that first and leave that at the end. Let me ask things that are a bit more technical in nature, right? So a question on Facebook is, I think it's a reasonable question if they are not involved in the luxury watch market, is how do these small retailers get stock when the boutique stores can't get stock? I think it's a very simple question, but it makes sense, right? That's people wonder.
Yes. Right? Yes, it makes sense. So okay, I mean that to be honest, watch industry is a cartel business, if you ask me. So this is what I can share with you. Maybe when you travel to Europe, to a grey market shop, you will get a Rolex with a warranty card chopped with XXX company, watch company in Singapore. And when you go into the grey market in Malaysia, you will actually see the Rolex warranty card chopped with XXX boutique, Rolex boutique in Italy. So which means some of the watches over there is in this part of the world. And some of the watches in this part of the world is actually over there. So it's a very cartel business. So if you have the right connection and the right access in the community, this is what I think Derick and myself, we want to build. We want to open up this cartel secret trades to all the TMI members. This is where we help you to access to this type of watches that you can't even get it from boutique. As simple as that.
Yes. I always believe one thing, the rich will get richer. Why? Because probably the rich will have opportunity or network that probably normal people cannot tap on.
Correct.
Also, so for this case, is Dato, he has his network that probably we can tap on that we are probably not in that circle, you see. So that's why it's really our honor for Timing and You to have a chance to work with Dato in this so-called luxury watch space. All right. Thank you, Dato. Yeah.
So continuing with the questions, this one I think is probably more for, well, both of you can comment as well. So of course, one of it is, do you think that the nature of it is similar to gold? Because, you know, it's not like it produces dividends or monthly income, right? So, you know, in terms of physical gold, that's one question. And following that is, which do you think is better? Which would appreciate faster? If you compare physical gold versus watches. I think there's no right answer here, but you know, I want to see what your
slide. You
yes.
have a slide for this.
I mean, to be honest, when it comes to investment, let us use data to guide where we should put our money, right? Let's don't use feeling, right? Let me show you some data that you will actually fall off the chair. So this is a comparison of a Rolex stainless steel Daytona versus a price of gold per ounce, the same period of time from 2006 to 2018 itself, right? On the right hand side, the purple color chart itself actually shows the price of gold during the period of time. And the left hand side actually shows the price of a Rolex Daytona at the same period of time. So you tell me yourself with this chart itself, I mean that I think price of gold is easily accessed. Derick, you can actually find prices of gold anywhere on internet. Prices of Rolex Daytona is also very transparent. Just go and Google prices of Daytona in 2006, then you go and plug a point. Prices of Daytona in 2007, then go and plug a point. This is the fact that I'm presenting to everybody. And you look at on the Rolex Daytona chart itself, there's a green color line and the gold color line. It shows that actually the price in the gray market is always at a premium compared to the retail market. So Josh, you make your call looking at the data that is going to get you. And by the way, as like what just now Derick says, you can't carry a 1 kilo gold bar in your pocket, go for a very nice tuxedo, go for dinner and keep showing off, hey, I have a 1 kilo gold with me right now. Am I cool? My answer is totally not cool at all. Yeah.
Probably something to add to Dato, what he has shared is this, because I do cycle analysis, so I understand the cycle of gold. Let's talk about gold. Actually, gold hit a high of $850 per ounce in 1980. All right, after that, it went through actually a 20-year of bear market until it reached a low around $250 per ounce around year 2000. Then from about $250, it went up to 1,923 in September 2011. And from 1923, it dropped to about 1,000. Then now it's back to about 1,008. Also, the thing I want to say is this: gold has a cycle. Whoever bought gold at a high, let's say 800 USD in 1970 plus 80, they have to go through 20 years of bear market. Then until later, when you go back to $800, then they'll break even. But on the other hand, if you look at Rolex, all right, you don't need to be good in cycle analysis because Rolex only got one way up. Also, if you ask me, that's why I say for someone who don't know about investment, don't know about cycles, then probably a luxury watch is something that they can look at because it's timeless. Like what I say, it doesn't have cycles. All right, but gold, you need to be in the right time at the right place. For example, if you bought at 1980 at a higher, then you bought at the wrong timing. All right, so but if you ask me at this point of time, yeah, gold to me is going up. That probably will go higher, but after that, do understand that gold will still turn down because gold has cycles up and down. But Rolex, it seems that even during recession time, is still horizontal rather than deep, at least for the so-called Rolex Submariner. That's based on the research that I do when it was first launched in 1957. Also, if you ask me, conclusion, normal folks don't have much of an investment knowledge. Probably a luxury watch segment is something that probably they can look at because like what the title of tonight's talk is, a timeless investment. All right, this is what I can share. All right.
If anybody has a Rolex Daytona, whether white face or black face, want to sell at 40,000 40,000 ringgit Malaysia, please bring to my shop. You have how many? I'll take how many. That's all. You have how many? I'll take all. Full set, without full set, 40,000 ringgit, come to my shop. Original, if it's original, I'll take all. Because I'm buying back a price that it will not come back again, like what Derick said. But for gold, if you go into it in the right cycle, you make money. But if you go into it at the wrong cycle, you might be able to buy back that price in your life. But just forget about that in the scenario of Daytona or Submariner or GMT2.
So there's a question for Dato that because you bring in like so many expensive watches, don't you get stopped or questioned because they are so expensive?
It depends. I mean, if you bring in all your watches in a very nice boxes, together with the receipt, together with everything, yes, you will get stopped. But if you wear it, or if you put, I mean, if you don't come in, we have our ways of, those are trade secrets. We have our ways of bringing
cannot
in.
say trade secret.
Yeah. So yeah, I've actually said quite some already, George. Yeah.
Yeah. So another question is, what about those second-hand watches that are sold at pawn shops, right? Like they may be luxury watches, but sold at pawn shops, you know? Do you ever buy from them?
This is something that I want to share with people. You see, the pawn shop Sifu and the luxury watch second-hand shop Sifu are very different. So I will never buy a watch from a pawn shop, given two reasons. First of all, I'm not sure whether with the change of time, whether the Sifu has actually seen a newer model of products before. So I doubt maybe their skills in authentifying that watch. And second thing, if I buy from a pawn shop, I will not enjoy something like a guarantee buyback. So when it comes to watches, I would like to get it from a professional, which is from it's like today, if you want to buy a phone, you will buy a Samsung phone or Apple phone, right, or Huawei phone. If one day Huawei came out with Huawei car, Samsung car, you might think twice. So if I want to buy a watch, I would prefer to a professional watch shop where they are very, very professionally trained. They are in this trade for many, many years. I will just only buy from a professional watch shop. I won't get it from a pawn shop. And if you select the right watch shop to buy your watch, like Watch Club itself, we will do guarantee buyback for sure. And I want to have a peace of mind, like what Derick said. I'm the type of person that, again, maybe is an ex-investment banker, so I want things a bit more secure, a bit more not so high risk, yeah.
So a few other questions. For one is like, do men's watches hold better value than ladies' watches? And if you're
nice.
looking at ladies' Rolex, what is a good ladies' Rolex watch? In the
Okay,
case
nice
of
question.
Rolex,
Okay, so now we talk about ladies. I want to touch a bit like just now. Derick says that maybe you go and whack some gold color watch. So again, if that particular watch have a lot of diamonds, a lot of rubies, you spend a lot of money buying that watch, it doesn't guarantee you very good return because those are the accessories that has been put on the watch itself. Okay, the reason why these few years Rolex sports models have increased, the price has increased so fast, and even vintage sports models for men's increased so fast is because I think there's a change of taste for ladies. So in those days, ladies like to wear very small size watches. Like for example, Rolex ladies used to be like 26 mm. Then they grow slightly bigger to a boy size, which is a 31 a dress watch. But for now, ladies like to wear bigger watch, the size bigger. So that actually helped to push the vintage watch of Rolex because the size itself is slightly smaller. Went up a lot, but there are some ladies who have a bigger wrist. They actually nowadays they wear men's size watches itself. So resulting that men's size watches has more demand. So the price itself is pretty hard. So if today you're talking about you want a dress watch, the modern ladies dress watch size is about 31 unless you have a very small wrist, then you go for 26 Like for example, my wife, he will definitely wear a Jen's sports watch, which is 40 So Derick, you will see sometimes that I don't have watches because she wore all my watches.
Okay. Hey, Dato, I also can wear for you.
Can.
Okay, then two more questions. Then I think we can wrap up today. Okay. So one of the questions is, what is stopping Rolex from producing watches that has appreciated? So that means like, your price appreciate, then they just keep creating more. What's stopping them from doing that?
Okay, let me show you a chart. So this is a chart where the brands actually market share by all brands. If you look at Rolex actually stands out like a sore thumb in this whole pie chart. They are the number one player, which is out of 100%, out of 10 people, 2 people who actually wants to buy a Rolex watch, right? And that's what just like I mentioned that brand management for watches itself is extremely important, right? It's like why you ask me why Lamborghini don't produce unlimited Avantados. So if you ask me, is Rolex actually they are the best brand player in town. They know how to manufacture the demand. They know how to control their supplies. They want to make sure that every single person who bought a watch from them, the quality itself is not compromised, and they actually have a value when after they bought the watch. So you want to compare with other brands, it's not that they are not doing well, but I tell you that it's like, for example, I personally love the Omega Seamaster. I love it, but again, human beings are like that. When you walk into a shop, you say, I want to get an Omega Seamaster 300. He will tell you how many pieces you want. 10? I have 10. Oh, you want 5? I have 5, right? But it's so different that when you walk into a Rolex and says, I want a Submariner. You tell you, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Then all the excuses come out again. So human beings like to get things that is very hard to reach. And then again, this created a demand and supply which is not balanced. So Rolex is definitely not going to increase. Why should they? If I am them, if I will increase the price, I will not increase the quantity, right, Josh? I won't. Again, it goes same goes to Patek Philippe and AP as well.
Scarcity value.
Rather the price.
Thank you, Dato. So the last one is a combination of everyone's question. So everyone's been throwing out brands, right? So I'm going to just drum off some brands. The question is, do you consider them as investments, right? So one of the brands you touch is Omega, right? Junghans, the German brand. JLC, of course, right? I'm familiar with them as well. And, so do you consider these brands as investments, or why do you not consider them as investments? Not to say they're not good watches, just a disclaimer, but why you
Correct.
consider not as an investment grade?
Don't get me wrong, as I mentioned, those are the four brands that I personally think that I personally classify them under investment grade watch, right? So if you're talking about other brands like Omega, there are other brands like Tag Heuer, those are very good brands, IWC, JLC are very good brands. Like for example, if you go back to this page itself, you're talking about German brands like Lange and Sonne and Glashütte. They produce very fine and good watches. They can be as on par as like Patek Philippe and Vacheron. They can be as on par, but again, it's a market and demand. So I can say that maybe these two brands, Lange and Glashütte, they have maybe more. It's easier to liquidate in Europe. It might not be easier to liquidate in this part of the world. So they are also considered very good brand. But I'm staying in this part of the world. I want my investment to be liquidated tomorrow. I do not wish to go to the airport, buy a ticket, fly 8 hours to Italy, and then sell my Lange, or fly to Berlin, and sell my Lange. You got what I mean, Josh? So it depends itself. Those are wonderful brands, but if you ask me, like Omega, I personally is a big fan of their Seamaster series, Planet Oceans and Seamaster. So it comes back again, which is the demand and supply. It's as simple as that. It's demand and supply. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Dato and Derick, for responding to your questions. Now, before we end, Dato, could I share my screen, please?
Share your screen.
Can you unshare so I can share my screen? Thank you so much.
How to unshare? Let me see.
Just at the top. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our guest today, Dato Michael T, right? So of course he's shared a lot. I think I'm actually surprised at the amount of questions that we got today, and everyone was very specific. So you know how many guys here are actually into watches, right? I think we're all very excited about this, because we're always in the world of investments, right? And sometimes investments can be a bit dry. Luxury watches, though, it's something that will wake you up, and you can have long conversations about it, and it makes you money, and it's something that you can wear and make money from, which is something very different in dimension. Probably it's not something that most people are used to, but that's also kind of the reason why timing is, we are kind of looking at this space, because ultimately we are looking for recession-proof opportunities for our community. We are always constantly looking for it. We do due diligence. You already heard from Dato when he shared that Derick didn't immediately want to go into watches, right? It was really over time, over studying. He even went and researched on a submariner. He probably did more research than me. I'm just a watch fanboy, but Dato is obviously the honestly speaking, I don't dare to out-talk him. It's impossible in watches, right? I just hope he'll let me be one of his vaults to keep the watches. That's about it. Okay. But of course, we are looking for more opportunities together. But for now, if you want to really learn directly from Dato, because right now, this is his passion. I'm actually a bit shocked that 60% of his portfolio is in watches, right? Not a bit, quite. I'm shocked lah. Not again, I'm a bit lost for words. But and he puts a lot of time to do sharing on the Facebook page at Watch Investment, so you can follow him there as well. And of course, if you want to find out a little bit more about how you can be a part of us to look into this space as a community together, you can stay on until the end of today's, after this session. We will be sharing with you a link, right, in the chat box, where you can go to a one-to-one with me, where I can tell you a little bit more about how the Timing and You membership works, if you are interested to know more. But if you are not so, because it's late and you don't want to spend a little bit more extra time with us, you can always arrange for a one-to-one session with me, or you could actually join us in on the 16th, right? On the 16th of this month, where we will be doing a very, very interesting session where Derick will be sharing about the, because recently the market has been claiming that it's a kangaroo market, right? Kangaroo market. Because why? Analysts are confused. The market is going up. Is it going down? Is it going sideways? After for a while, analysts have stopped analyzing. And because they have been analyzing the market very incorrectly. But Derick, of course, has been looking at the market even when the moment the pandemic started, and he was very certain this is not a bear market, right? And it's just a correction before it's going to rally again. And so Derick has been very consistent in that. So, and he's going to be sharing with you more on his methods and his analysis and his ideas about why we are going into a recession that's even bigger than what you're experiencing right now. And it's not 5-10 years away. It's just around the corner. So imagine right now you are already reeling from the COVID-19. Can you imagine what it's like if another one hits just around the corner? So that impact will be major. And if you've been a part of the Timing and You community, we have been steady throughout the pandemic. Of course, you have the problems that you occur, but in terms of investment wise, if you've been following with us very diligently, you wouldn't have been shocked by many of the things in the market, and you could take steps to actually make money from it, especially in the stock market as well. Even I, who have been learning from Derick, have been steadily improving my returns in the stock market. Here's the thing, I've been improving my returns. I'm not cutting loss. I'm not making losses. We're actually able to capitalize on the market because we were prepared beforehand. So if you are interested, do block your dates. On the 16th, we will be sharing with you the link. The link for you to sign up on Eventbrite is in the chat room. So please do join that if you are unable to join us later on. And of course, at the end of this session, please do join me. If you want to know more about the Timing and You membership, there'll be a separate room that I'll be addressing to you guys over Zoom. And with that, I'd like to personally thank Dato. It's always been a pleasure speaking to you. You need to be my watch guru, and I'd like to pass the time to Derick to say some closing remarks for today's session. Derick?
Of course, we have to thank Dato for his valuable time. Yeah, so I learned from him now. I'm getting Dato to share with our TNY Watch Club members more about this investment into a luxury watch. And I believe there are some so-called Timing and You members over here in this webinar. Just to let you guys know, we'll be launching this luxury watch program whereby we can profit from this luxury watch space on the 25th of July this month. All right, so details will be out soon. So for Timing and You members, do lock down your date, 25th of July. I think it's a Saturday.
Yes,
also, we'll get to see Dato again, and we will be launching a program that we can all participate in this luxury space. And I'm very excited about it. All right, so so do watch out for that. So I think with that, I believe tonight is a very good education for all about this luxury space. I myself, now I go out drink coffee with friends. I also can start a conversation about luxury watch already. All right, so so I think with that, really have to thank you, Dato, for your time. All right, to share so generously. And ladies and gentlemen, please go and like Dato's the watch investment, the Facebook page, so that you can have more knowledge from the luxury watch investment as well.
Right. 2 points for me.
All right.
2 points for me. So first of all, I think that what Derick mentioned is true. Through watch itself, it helps me open up a lot of business doors. A lot. I think I have been sharing with people that it has helped me to open up doors in the exchange, stock exchange of Malaysia. It helps me to open up doors there because I mean that one of the top executives itself we become very good friends because of watches. And also there's a newly appointed government agency recently, the new CEO itself. We started a friendship because of a Japanese watch itself. So watches itself actually helps me to even open doors, and also it also helps me to spark business conversations. But like what Derick says, this is something that is very, very amazing. And for the watch investment Facebook page, I tell you, I have been bombarded with messages every day now where members ask me what to buy, where should I buy. So to be honest, I'll be very happy to answer every member's question if I have the time. If I'm in toilet or I'm having my lunch or dinner or I'm driving, I can't reply you on the spot. Don't worry. I saw there are some members. My members are looking at this talk now. Rest assured, you can ask them. I will answer every single question that you ask. That's my commitment to everybody and to TNY's member as well.
Thank you, Dato. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dato.
Yeah.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tonight. We hope this Fireside Chat series has opened your mind a little bit. And remember, timing is everything. Have a very good night. Thank you very much for being with us here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Okay,
Good
bye.
night. Bye.
Good night.